The massive alien ships appeared in Earth's solar system on a Tuesday morning. Captain Jake Morrison watched from the bridge of the human space station Liberty as 12 vessels moved into formation near Mars. Each ship was the size of a city and gleamed with silver, metal that seemed to shift colors in the sunlight. "Sir, they're requesting permission to approach Earth," Commander Lisa Barnes said from her position at the communications console. She had been monitoring the alien transmissions for 3 hours since their arrival. The messages came through in perfect English, which surprised everyone on the station. Jake nodded and straightened his blue uniform. "Grant them permission to dock with Liberty. Send the standard diplomatic welcome message." The lead alien ship moved slowly toward the space station. It was beautiful in a strange way, with smooth curves and no visible weapons. As it grew closer, Jake could see small lights moving along its hull like living stars. The ship connected to Liberty's main docking bay with a soft metallic sound that echoed through the station. 2 hours later, Jake sat in the station's largest conference room waiting for his first meeting with beings from another world. The room had been quickly decorated with Earth flags and a large table that could seat 20 people. Commander Barnes sat beside him, her brown hair tied back in a neat bun. She held a tablet computer ready to record everything that happened. The door slid open with a quiet hiss. The first alien to enter looked like a tall human wearing elaborate robes, but his skin was pale blue and his eyes were completely black. Behind him walked a creature that looked like a giant praying mantis standing on 2 legs. Her green exoskeleton reflected the room's lights. "I am High Chancellor Vexthul of the Zentari Empire," the blue-skinned alien said. His voice was deep and musical. "This is Ambassador Kethra of the Hive Collective. We represent the Galactic Federation on this historic day." Jake stood and extended his hand for a handshake. The alien looked at it with confusion for a moment, then grasped it firmly. "I'm Captain Jake Morrison, representing Earth's Defense Corps. This is Commander Lisa Barnes." The aliens took their seats across from the humans. Chancellor Vexthul placed a small crystal device on the table. It began to glow with soft blue light. "This device will translate our words perfectly and record our agreement for the Federation archives." Ambassador Kethra made a clicking sound with her mandibles. "Captain Morrison, today marks the beginning of a new era for your species. The Galactic Federation has watched humanity's development with great interest." "We're honored by your visit," Jake replied. He had been briefed by Earth scientists about possible first contact scenarios, but none of them had prepared him for how normal this felt. The alien seemed friendly and spoke clearly. Chancellor Vexthul opened a metallic case and removed a thick document bound in what looked like silver wire. "This is the Treaty of Galactic Membership. The Federation Council has crafted these terms specifically for humanity after careful study of your world and culture." The alien pushed the document across the table toward Jake. The pages felt warm to the touch and seemed to glow faintly. Jake began reading while Commander Barnes looked over his shoulder. The writing was in perfect English, but some of the concepts were difficult to understand. "The Federation offers humanity junior membership status," Chancellor Vexthul explained. "You will receive protection from hostile alien species, access to 3 star systems for colonization, and limited trading rights with Federation worlds." Jake continued reading. The treaty promised advanced medical technology that could cure most human diseases. It offered faster-than-light travel methods that would let humans explore the galaxy. The Federation would share knowledge about agriculture, engineering, and physics that could solve Earth's energy problems. "These benefits sound incredible," Commander Barnes said. "What does the Federation want in return?" Ambassador Kethra leaned forward, her compound eyes reflecting the room's lights. "The terms are quite reasonable. Earth would contribute its mineral resources to the Federation's industrial projects. Your planet has rare elements that are valuable for our technology." Chancellor Vexthul nodded. "Additionally, humanity would provide 100,000 volunteers each year to work in Federation facilities throughout the galaxy. This cultural exchange would benefit both our peoples greatly." Jake felt something cold settle in his stomach as he continued reading. "The volunteers would work for 20-year contracts in mining operations, factory worlds, and military support roles. Earth would become a protectorate of the Federation, with major decisions subject to approval by the Galactic Council. There are also defense obligations," the Chancellor continued. "Humanity would contribute ships and personnel to Federation peacekeeping forces when requested. This rarely happens, perhaps once every 50 Earth years. Commander Barnes frowned as she read a section about legal jurisdiction. It says here that Federation law would apply to all human activities in space and on colony worlds. What does that mean exactly?
Simply that humans operating outside Earth would follow Federation regulations.
Ambassador Kethra clicked. These laws have maintained peace across 10,000 worlds for 3 millennia. They are time-tested and fair to all species. Jake finished reading the treaty and set it down carefully. The document was thorough and clearly written. The Federation was offering humanity incredible advances in technology and medicine. They would gain access to thousands of worlds and alien cultures. Earth would never again face extinction from asteroids, climate change, or resource depletion. The aliens sat quietly while Jake considered their offer. Chancellor Vexthul folded his hands and waited patiently. Ambassador Kethra's mandibles moved slightly in what might have been anticipation. "This is certainly a generous offer," Jake said finally. "The Federation clearly put a lot of thought into these terms." "Indeed we did," Chancellor Vexthul replied. "The Council spent 2 full cycles crafting this treaty. We believe it represents the beginning of a prosperous future for humanity." Jake looked at Commander Barnes, who gave him a slight nod. They had discussed this possibility during their briefings. Earth's leaders had been clear about their position on any alien contact. "We appreciate the Federation's interest in humanity," Jake said. He pushed the treaty back across the table toward the aliens. "But we're not interested in membership at this time." The silence in the room was complete. Both aliens stared at Jake as if he had spoken in a language their translator couldn't process. Chancellor Vexthul's black eyes grew wider. Ambassador Kethra's mandibles stopped moving entirely. "I'm sorry," Chancellor Vexthul said slowly. "Could you repeat that?" "The translator may have malfunctioned." "We understood the treaty perfectly," Commander Barnes said. "Earth declines the Federation's offer of membership." Ambassador Kethra made a sharp clicking sound. "Perhaps you misunderstood the generous terms we offer humans. This treaty guarantees your species' survival under Federation protection. No world has ever rejected membership." "We understand what you're offering," Jake replied calmly. "The answer is still no." The 2 aliens looked at each other with obvious confusion. They whispered in their own languages while their translator device continued to glow. Finally, Chancellor Vexthul turned back to the humans. "Captain Morrison, may I ask why humanity chooses to reject these benefits? The Federation has never encountered such a response." Jake stood up from his chair. Commander Barnes gathered her notes and stood beside him. "We prefer to develop independently. Earth will make its own way among the stars." The aliens remained seated, apparently too shocked to move. Chancellor Vexthul's blue skin had turned slightly purple. Ambassador Kethra's compound eyes seemed to vibrate. "This is highly irregular," the Chancellor said. "The Council will need to be informed immediately. Perhaps a different approach would be more suitable for your species." "Thank you for visiting," Commander Barnes said politely. "We wish the Federation well in all its endeavors." Jake escorted the stunned aliens back to their ship. As the massive vessel detached from Liberty Station, he could see through the windows that dozens of alien figures were gathered on their bridge, apparently in heated discussion. "Think they'll be back?" Commander Barnes asked as they watched the Federation fleet move away from Earth. "Definitely," Jake replied. "They clearly aren't used to hearing no." 6 months passed before the aliens returned to Earth. Admiral Ben Taylor stood in the newly built Interspecies Relations Center in Geneva, watching through the massive windows as 3 enormous ships descended through the clouds. Each vessel was different from the others, representing different alien species, and each was larger than anything humanity had ever built. The first ship looked like a giant black pyramid covered in red lights. The second resembled a massive crystal that rotated slowly as it moved. The third was organic-looking, with a rough brown surface that seemed to breathe. All 3 ships landed in the designated areas around the center with surprising gentleness. "They certainly brought more firepower this time," Colonel Sam Wright observed from his position near the communication console. He wore his dress uniform with all his medals displayed. Earth's military leaders wanted to show the aliens that humanity took this meeting seriously. Dr. Amy Rodriguez entered the main conference room carrying several thick folders of research. She had spent months studying the alien languages and cultures from the recordings of the first meeting. "The intelligence report suggests these are the Federation's most important species leaders," she told Admiral Taylor. They wouldn't send them unless this was extremely important to them. The conference room had been expanded since the last meeting. The table now seated 50 people, and translation equipment lined the walls. Earth's best diplomats, scientists, and military officers filled half the seats. The other half waited for the alien delegation. Admiral Taylor adjusted his uniform and checked his notes one final time. President Martinez had given him clear instructions about Earth's position. Humanity would listen politely to any new offers, but the answer would remain the same. Earth chose independence over alien protection. The main doors opened with a mechanical hum. The alien delegation entered in a formal procession that looked like something from an ancient ceremony. Leading them was a massive reptilian creature walking upright on powerful legs. His scales were dark green with gold patterns, and his yellow eyes surveyed the room with obvious intelligence. Behind him walked a being that appeared to be made entirely of living crystal. Light moved through her transparent body in complex patterns, and her voice came from somewhere inside her chest. The third leader was clearly from a warrior culture, with thick arms, gray skin, and scars covering his face and hands. "I am Supreme Commander Zarkoth of the Reptilian Hegemony," the lead alien announced in a voice like distant thunder. "This is First Speaker Yelnara of the Yaoi, Crystalline Confederacy, and War Chief Thokran of the Orcish battle clans. We represent the 3 founding races of the Galactic Federation." Admiral Taylor stood and nodded respectfully. "I'm Admiral Ben Taylor, representing Earth's government. We're honored by your presence." He gestured to the chairs across from the human delegation. "Please make yourselves comfortable." The aliens took their seats with careful ceremony. Supreme Commander Zarkoth placed a new device on the table, larger and more complex than the one used in the first meeting. First Speaker. Yelnara's crystal body pulsed with different colors as she communicated with the device. War Chief Thokran simply sat quietly and stared at the humans with intense curiosity. "Admiral Taylor," Supreme Commander Zarkoth began, "the Federation Council has spent considerable time reviewing humanity's response to our initial offer. We understand that your species values independence, so we have prepared new terms that address these concerns." First Speaker. Yelnara's light patterns shifted to brighter colors. "The previous treaty offered junior membership. We now extend full Federation citizenship to humanity. This status has never been granted to a species upon first contact." Dr. Rodriguez leaned forward to translate the implications for Admiral Taylor. "Full membership means voting rights in the Galactic Senate and equal representation in Federation decisions. It's a significant upgrade from their first offer." War Chief Thokran spoke for the first time, his voice rough but clear. "Full members receive complete access to Federation military technology and training. Your warriors would learn from the best fighters in the galaxy." Supreme Commander Zarkoth activated a holographic display above the table. Images of star systems, planets, and space stations appeared in detailed 3-dimensional models. Humanity would receive colonization rights to 10 star systems of your choosing. These systems contain habitable worlds, rare minerals, and strategic locations throughout Federation space. The holographic display showed incredible cities floating in space, planets covered with gleaming towers, and ships moving between stars at impossible speeds. Admiral Taylor recognized some of the technology from science fiction movies, but seeing it presented as reality was breathtaking. "The Federation offers complete technological integration," First Speaker Yelnara continued. Her crystal body now glowed with warm golden light. "Humanity would receive faster-than-light communication, matter replicators, and energy sources that could power Earth for millions of years." Dr. Rodriguez took careful notes as the aliens described each benefit. The medical technology alone could eliminate every disease known to humanity. The agricultural systems could feed Earth's population 10 times over. The transportation methods would make travel to other galaxies possible. In return for these benefits, Supreme Commander Zarkoth said,
Humanity would contribute 500,000
volunteers to Federation military forces and agree to coordinate space exploration through Federation channels. Colonel Wright studied the military requirements carefully. Unlike the first treaty, this agreement treated humanity as equal partners rather than junior participants. The humans would serve in leadership positions and help make strategic decisions for Federation forces. Admiral Taylor reviewed the new treaty document while the alien leaders waited patiently. The terms were dramatically better than the first offer. Earth would gain incredible technology and access to thousands of worlds while maintaining significant autonomy. The Federation was essentially offering to share control of their galactic civilization. "This is remarkably generous," Admiral Taylor said finally. "The Federation has clearly put enormous effort into addressing our concerns about the previous treaty." Supreme Commander Zarkoth's reptilian features showed what might have been satisfaction. "The Council recognizes humanity's potential value to the Federation. We believe this partnership would benefit both our peoples greatly." Dr. Rodriguez finished reading through the treaty's technical sections. She had spent months learning about Federation law and customs, and this document represented a complete reversal of their usual practices. "Admiral, this treaty makes humanity equal partners rather than subordinate members. It's unprecedented in Federation history." Admiral Taylor looked around the table at his team. Each person nodded slightly, confirming they had reviewed their sections of the treaty. The document was fair, generous, and offered humanity everything they could want from joining an interstellar civilization. "The Federation's offer is impressive," Admiral Taylor said. "We appreciate the time and effort the Council spent revising the terms." He paused and looked directly at each alien leader. "However, Earth's position remains unchanged. We decline membership in the Federation." The silence that followed was even deeper than after the first rejection. Supreme Commander Zarkoth's yellow eyes grew wide with disbelief. First speaker. Yelnara's crystal body flickered through rapid color changes that seemed to indicate confusion or distress. War Chief Thokran leaned back in his chair and studied the humans as if seeing them for the first time. "Admiral," Supreme Commander Zarkoth said slowly, "I want to ensure our translation systems are functioning correctly. Did humanity just reject full Federation membership with complete technological integration and 10 star systems?" "That's correct," Colonel Wright answered. "We understand your offer completely. Earth chooses to remain independent." War Chief Thokran made a sound that might have been laughter. "In 3,000 years of galactic history, no species has ever refused Federation protection. Your planet faces dangers you cannot imagine alone." "We appreciate your concern," Dr. Rodriguez replied, "but humanity prefers to face those dangers on our own terms." First speaker. Yelnara's lights shifted to deep red patterns. "This response makes no logical sense. The Federation offers everything a developing species could desire: safety, technology, resources, and knowledge beyond your current understanding." Admiral Taylor stood up from his chair. "We understand what the Federation offers. We also understand what membership would cost. Earth chooses a different path." The alien leaders remained seated, apparently too stunned to respond immediately. Supreme Commander Zarkoth finally stood and gathered the treaty documents. "The Council will need to review this outcome carefully. No species has ever made this choice twice." As the aliens prepared to leave, War Chief Thokran approached Admiral Taylor directly. "Human, your species shows either great wisdom or great foolishness. I am curious to see which proves true." The three alien leaders departed in the same formal procession they had used to enter. Admiral Taylor watched through the windows as their massive ships lifted off and disappeared into the sky. Within minutes they had vanished among the stars. "Think that's the last we'll see of them?" Colonel Wright asked. The emergency meeting on New Centauri was the first of its kind in 3,000 years. Grand Chancellor Morden stood at the center of the massive crystalline chamber, his ancient form trembling with barely controlled anxiety. Around him, representatives from every major species in the galaxy filled the curved tiers of seats that rose toward the chamber's glowing ceiling. Admiral Kelly Davis sat in the small section reserved for humanity, watching the unprecedented gathering with quiet interest. She had been sent by President Martinez with strict orders to observe only and make no commitments. Beside her, Lieutenant Paul Jackson recorded everything on his tablet, while trying not to stare at the incredible variety of alien beings surrounding them. "In 3 millennia of galactic civilization," Chancellor Morden announced, his voice echoing through translation devices in hundreds of languages, "no species has ever rejected Federation membership. The humans have now refused our offers twice, each more generous than any treaty in our history." A wave of concerned murmurs rippled through the assembly. Admiral Davis noticed that many of the aliens kept glancing toward the human section, with expressions that ranged from curiosity to outright fear. She had read the intelligence reports about how humanity's rejections were being discussed across Federation worlds. but seeing the panic firsthand was surprising. Ambassador Feltalk of the aquatic domains rose from his water-filled speaking pod, his tentacles gesturing emphatically. Perhaps the humans simply do not understand the dangers of remaining outside Federation protection. The galaxy contains hostile forces that could destroy an unprotected world. The humans understand perfectly, replied Senator Kixara of the Insectoid Collective, her multiple arms clicking against her carapace. Our intelligence indicates their species is highly intelligent. They rejected our offers with full knowledge of what they were refusing. General Ross Clark, Earth's military observer, took careful notes as he listened to the alien discussions. The Federation leaders were clearly struggling to comprehend humanity's position. Their entire worldview was built on the assumption that every species would want to join their collective for protection and advancement. Chancellor Morden activated a holographic display that showed a map of Federation space. Thousands of star systems glowed with different colors indicating various member species. At the edge of the display, Earth's solar system blinked with a red warning light. The humans occupy a strategically important location, the Chancellor explained. Their system provides access to 3 major trade routes and borders the unexplored regions of the Outer Rim. We cannot simply ignore their independence. Dr. Helen Foster, Earth's lead scientist, studied the galactic map with professional interest. She realized that Earth's location was far more valuable than humanity had understood. The Federation wasn't just offering membership out of kindness. They needed human cooperation to maintain control over their trade networks. War Chief Braktul of the warrior caste stood up, his massive frame casting shadows across nearby delegates. If the humans refuse our generous offers, perhaps stronger methods of persuasion are necessary. No world can stand alone against the combined might of the Federation. A shocked silence fell over the assembly. Admiral Davis felt tension rise among the human delegation, but she kept her expression neutral. President Martinez had warned that some Federation members might suggest military action if diplomatic efforts failed. War Chief Braktul, Chancellor Morden, said sternly, "The Federation has never forced membership upon any species. Such actions would violate our most fundamental principles." "Then what do you suggest?" demanded Prime Minister Veltar of the Mechanical Collective, his robotic voice cutting through the chamber's acoustics. "The humans have rejected everything we can offer. Their independence threatens the stability of our entire system." Admiral Davis exchanged glances with Lieutenant Jackson. The aliens were more worried about humanity's rejection than she had expected. Earth's choice to remain independent was apparently causing problems throughout Federation space that went far beyond simple diplomatic embarrassment. Speaker Morgeth of the Ethereal Communion floated near the chamber's ceiling, her translucent form shimmering with internal light. "Perhaps we should examine why the humans refuse our offers. What could they possibly want that the Federation cannot provide?" "Freedom," General Clark said quietly to Dr. Foster. "They can't understand a species that values independence over security." The debate continued for hours. Some delegates suggested economic pressure, others recommended cultural exchanges, and a few even proposed ignoring humanity completely. Admiral Davis listened to each suggestion while maintaining careful diplomatic silence. Ambassador Zethlin of the Peaceful Alliance raised a concerning point that made several delegates shift uncomfortably in their seats. What if other species learn about the human rejection? If word spreads that Federation membership is optional, it could destabilize our entire political structure. Chancellor Mordoon's ancient features showed deep worry. That possibility has occurred to the Council. We must resolve the human situation quickly and quietly before other worlds begin questioning their own membership status. Dr. Foster realized the true scope of the Federation's panic. Their entire galactic order depended on every species accepting that membership was necessary for survival. Humanity's successful independence proved that alternatives existed, which threatened to undermine 3,000 years of political control. Captain Nina Wells of Earth's Intelligence Service noted, "How many species representatives seem to be taking extra interest in the human delegation? Some appeared curious about what made humanity different, while others looked almost envious of Earth's freedom to choose its own path. I propose we make one final offer," announced High Counselor Thexera of the Ancient Builders. "We should send our most senior diplomats with terms so generous that no rational species could refuse them." The suggestion received widespread support from the assembly. Admiral Davis watched as hundreds of alien beings nodded, clicked, buzzed, or otherwise indicated agreement. The Federation was preparing to make an offer that would be impossible to refuse. Chancellor Morden called for a formal vote on the proposal. The chamber filled with various sounds as each species cast their ballot through their translation devices. The final tally was overwhelming. 847 votes in favor, 12 abstentions, and 0 opposed. The motion passes, Chancellor Morden announced. The Council will prepare final terms for the human species. These negotiations will determine whether peaceful coexistence remains possible. As the assembly began to disperse, Admiral Davis overheard conversations in dozens of languages. Many delegates were discussing what they had learned about humanity's rejections. Some seemed worried about the precedent Earth was setting, while others appeared curious about the possibility of independence. Lieutenant Jackson finished uploading his recordings to the secure transmitter that would send them back to Earth. "Admiral, should we expect another visit soon?" "Definitely," Admiral Davis replied as she watched the alien delegates filing out of the chamber. "And I suspect this next offer will be unlike anything they've ever proposed before." Dr. Foster gathered her research materials while observing the various alien groups forming in the chamber's corridors. "They're more scared than we realized. Our independence threatens their entire way of thinking about galactic politics." General Clark noticed several species representatives approaching the human section. "Looks like some of them want to talk." "Should we engage?" Admiral Davis considered the approaching aliens carefully. Her orders were to observe only. But informal conversations might provide valuable intelligence about Federation intentions. "Keep it casual and don't make any commitments. Let's see what they want to know about Earth." The first alien to reach them was Ambassador Yildok of the nomadic tribes, a species that had joined the Federation only 50 years earlier. His people still remembered their independence, and his curiosity about humanity was obvious. "Admiral Davis," the ambassador said through his translator,
"May I ask what your species hopes to achieve by remaining outside the Federation?"
"Do humans not desire the security and prosperity that membership provides? We prefer to create our own security and prosperity," Admiral Davis replied diplomatically. "Earth believes that independence allows us to develop according to our own values and priorities." The ambassador's expression showed surprise and what might have been admiration. "Your species shows remarkable confidence. The Federation taught my people that independence was too dangerous for any world to maintain." As more aliens approached with similar questions, Admiral Davis began to understand the true impact of humanity's rejections. Every species in the Federation had been told that membership was necessary for survival. Earth's success as an independent world was living proof that the Federation's fundamental premise might be wrong. The conversations continued for another hour before the human delegation prepared to leave New Centauri. As they walked toward their transport, Dr. Foster observed the groups of aliens still discussing humanity's choices. "This isn't just about us anymore," she said quietly to Admiral Davis. "We've started something bigger than we realized." Admiral Davis nodded as she looked back at the crystalline chamber where 2 years after first contact, the largest alien fleet in galactic history arrived at Earth. Fleet Admiral Chris Thompson watched from the bridge of the massive human battleship New Horizon as hundreds of Federation vessels took positions throughout the solar system. Each ship represented a different species, and together they formed a display of power unlike anything humanity had ever witnessed. "Sir, we're receiving transmission requests from over 50 different alien commanders," Commander Diane Murphy reported from her station. She had been promoted to strategic advisor after Earth's previous encounters with the Federation, and her experience with alien diplomacy was now invaluable. "Accept the primary communication channel only," Admiral Thompson ordered. "Route everything else to the diplomatic corps." He straightened his uniform and prepared for what everyone expected to be the Federation's final attempt at recruitment. The main view screen activated to show a being unlike any of the previous alien visitors. The creature appeared ancient beyond measure, with crystalline features that seemed to shift between solid matter and pure energy. When it spoke, the voice came from everywhere at once, as if the universe itself was talking. "I am the eternal voice, eldest of the progenitor race and founder of the Galactic Federation, the being announced. I have come personally to address the human species on a matter of unprecedented importance. Major Tony Blake, Earth's intelligence officer, checked his records quickly. The progenitors were legendary even among Federation species, ancient beings who had created the Galactic Alliance and then withdrawn from active leadership thousands of years ago. For one of them to appear in person meant the situation had reached the highest possible level of significance. "We are honored by your presence, Eternal Voice," Admiral Thompson replied formally. "Earth welcomes this opportunity for dialogue." The alien fleet began moving into a perfect sphere formation around Earth, with the progenitor vessel at the center. Commander Murphy noted that the arrangement was clearly meant to be impressive rather than threatening, but the sheer number of ships made Earth look tiny and vulnerable by comparison. "Admiral Thompson," the Eternal Voice continued, "the Federation has prepared final terms for humanity's membership. These conditions represent the absolute limits of what our civilization can offer any species." A new alien ship approached New Horizon, this one larger than anything humanity had built. It connected to the battleship's main docking bay, and within minutes a procession of beings entered the human vessel. The Eternal Voice led them, followed by representatives from every major Federation species. The meeting took place in New Horizon's expanded conference center, a room that had been built specifically for large diplomatic gatherings. Admiral Thompson was joined by Commander Murphy, Major Blake, and Captain Nancy Wells, Earth's chief negotiator. The human delegation faced the most powerful collection of alien leaders ever assembled in one place. The Federation offers humanity dominance over 50 star systems, the Eternal Voice announced without preliminary discussion. These systems contain over 200 habitable worlds and resources, sufficient to support your species for millions of years. Captain Wells reviewed the holographic display that appeared above the conference table. The star systems offered to humanity were scattered throughout Federation space and included some of the most valuable real estate in the galaxy. Many of the worlds were currently inhabited by Federation species who would apparently be relocated to make room for human colonists. Additionally, the Eternal Voice continued, humanity will receive unrestricted access to all Federation technology, including weapons, starship designs, and scientific knowledge accumulated over 3 millennia. Your species will possess the most advanced tools in galactic civilization. Major Blake studied the technical specifications being displayed. The Federation was offering humanity military technology that could make Earth the most powerful force in the galaxy. Energy weapons that could destroy planets, starships that could travel between galaxies, and defensive systems that could protect entire star systems from any conceivable attack. The Federation also grants humanity voting control in the Galactic Senate, the Eternal Voice stated. Your species will hold the deciding vote on all major decisions affecting galactic policy. No action will be taken without human approval. Commander Murphy realized the incredible scope of what was being offered. The Federation was essentially proposing to hand control of their entire civilization to humanity. Earth would become the dominant species in a galactic empire that spanned thousands of worlds and billions of alien beings. In return, the Eternal Voice said, "We ask only for formal acknowledgement of Federation, authority, and humanity's agreement to abide by galactic law and interspecies matters." Admiral Thompson reviewed the treaty document that materialized on the table before him. The terms were exactly as described, written in clear language that left no room for misinterpretation. The Federation was offering humanity everything they possessed in exchange for symbolic membership. "This offer is unprecedented," Captain Wells observed. "The Federation is proposing to make humanity the ruling species of their entire civilization." "Indeed," the Eternal Voice replied. "No species in galactic history has ever received such generous terms. The Council believes this arrangement will benefit both humanity and the Federation for millennia to come." Major Blake noticed something interesting in the treaty's legal language. Even with all the power being offered to humanity, the document still contained subtle requirements for Federation approval of major human decisions. Earth would rule the galaxy, but only within limits set by Federation law. "The terms are certainly impressive," Admiral Thompson said carefully. "The Federation has clearly made extraordinary efforts to address our previous concerns. The assembled alien leaders waited in complete silence. Many of them had never seen their own homeworlds offered such generous terms when they joined the Federation. The progenitors were literally offering to give humanity control over everything they had built across 3,000 years of galactic expansion. Commander Murphy studied the faces of the alien delegation. She could see desperation in many of their expressions, barely hidden behind diplomatic formality. The Federation needed humanity's agreement so badly that they were willing to sacrifice their own dominance to achieve it. "We understand the magnitude of this offer," Captain Wells said. "The Federation is proposing changes that would reshape galactic civilization itself." "That is correct," the Eternal Voice confirmed. "Humanity's unique perspective would bring new ideas and approaches to challenges the Federation has struggled with for centuries. Your independence and creativity are exactly what our civilization needs to continue growing." Admiral Thompson looked around the table at his team. Each person had reviewed their section of the treaty and confirmed that the Federation was offering exactly what they claimed. Earth would gain control over the largest interstellar empire in known space, along with technology that could solve every problem humanity had ever faced. "The Federation's offer exceeds anything we could have imagined," Admiral Thompson said finally. "The Council has clearly invested tremendous thought and resources into these negotiations." The alien leaders leaned forward slightly, obviously expecting acceptance of their unprecedented offer. The Eternal Voice's crystalline features showed what might have been anticipation or anxiety, though reading progenitor emotions was nearly impossible for humans. However, Admiral Thompson continued, "Earth's position remains unchanged. We respectfully decline Federation membership." The silence that followed was deeper than anything that had occurred in the previous meetings. The Eternal Voice's form flickered between solid and energy states several times before stabilizing. Many of the other alien leaders simply stared at the humans as if they had spoken in an unknown language. "This cannot be possible," the Eternal Voice said, its universal voice sounding strained for the first time. "We are offering your species control over the galaxy itself. What more could humanity possibly desire? We want to develop our own civilization," Captain Wells replied calmly. "Earth chooses independence over dominance, freedom over power." Commander Murphy watched as several alien delegates began whispering urgently among themselves. The Federation's final offer had been rejected, and none of them seemed to have prepared for this possibility. Major Blake noticed that some of the alien leaders were looking at the humans with what appeared to be fear rather than confusion. The Federation had offered humanity everything they possessed, and Earth had still said no. This rejection challenged the fundamental assumptions upon which their entire civilization was built. "But why?" the Eternal Voice asked, its form now flickering rapidly between different states of matter. "The Federation offers safety, prosperity, knowledge, and power beyond measure. No rational species would refuse such benefits." Admiral Thompson stood up from his seat and his delegation rose with him. "We understand what the Federation offers. We also understand that accepting your gifts would mean accepting your limitations. Humanity chooses a different path." The Eternal Voice remained motionless for several long moments. When it finally spoke again, its voice carried undertones that the human translators struggled to process. "In 3. The Federation's most secure world, Haven Prime, had never hosted such an emergency gathering. Grand Admiral Voxtar stood before the assembled leadership of every major species, his voice carrying undertones of barely controlled panic. The massive underground chamber was filled with creatures from across the galaxy, all united by growing fear about what humanity's rejections meant for their civilization. "Our intelligence networks report disturbing developments," Admiral Voxtar announced to the hushed assembly. 17 Federation worlds have requested information about independence procedures that do not exist in our legal framework. Admiral Steve Collins watched the proceedings from his hidden position aboard the stealth ship UES Observer, positioned just outside Haven Prime's sensor range. Beside him, Dr. Rachel Brown monitored the alien communications, while Earth's most advanced recording equipment captured every word of the secret meeting. "The human rejection has created unprecedented questions about Federation membership," continued Admiral Voxtar. "Species that have belonged to our alliance for centuries are now asking why they cannot choose independence if they desire it." Dr. Sandra Peterson, analyzing the intercepted transmissions from her station on Luna, realized that Earth's simple refusal to join had triggered something the Federation had never experienced. For 3,000 years, every species had accepted that membership was necessary for survival. Humanity had proven this assumption wrong. More troubling, Admiral Voxtar said, our research into human development patterns shows advancement rates that exceed our projections by significant margins. Their technology is improving faster than our own. The chamber erupted in concerned voices speaking dozens of languages. Admiral Collins adjusted his ship's sensors to capture the individual conversations happening throughout the assembly. Many Federation leaders were expressing shock that any species could develop more quickly than their collective advancement. War Chief Braktol of the Warrior Caste stood up, his massive frame casting shadows across nearby delegates. How is this possible? The Federation combines knowledge from thousands of worlds and millions of scientists. No single planet should advance faster than our collective efforts. That assumption appears to be incorrect, replied Chief Science Advisor Melthera of the Academic Coalition. Human innovation occurs through competition and independent research rather than coordinated cooperation. Their chaotic approach produces faster results than our organized methods. Dr. Brown realized the terrifying truth that the Federation was slowly discovering. Humanity's technological development wasn't just independent of Federation assistance. It was actually faster than anything the Galactic Alliance could achieve. Earth didn't need their advanced civilization because human advancement was outpacing it. Our economic analysts have reached disturbing conclusions, announced Treasury Minister Kelnox of the Commercial Guild. If current trends continue, human technology will surpass Federation standards within 50 Earth years. The silence that followed this announcement was complete. Every alien leader in the chamber understood the implications. The Federation's entire appeal was based on offering advanced technology and protection to developing species. If humanity could surpass them independently, the foundation of their galactic order would collapse. There is worse news, Admiral Voxtar continued reluctantly. 3 Federation member species have formally requested meetings with human representatives to discuss alternative development models. They are studying Earth's independent advancement with obvious interest. General Robert Hayes, monitoring the situation from Earth's command center, recognized the crisis the Federation was facing. Their rejection of humanity had accidentally revealed that independent development might be superior to collective membership. Other species were beginning to question whether Federation assistance was actually holding back their progress. The Zentari Empire has withdrawn from 2 major Federation projects, reported Diplomatic Coordinator Yensara. They claim they want to attempt human-style independent research on their military technology programs. Admiral Patricia Young reviewed the intelligence reports flowing into Earth's command systems. Federation worlds were quietly reducing their cooperation with central authorities and increasing their own research efforts. Humanity's independence was inspiring other species to reclaim their autonomy. Most concerning of all, Admiral Voxtar said, his voice dropping to barely above a whisper, the humans don't appear to need us at all. Every species in Federation history has required our protection from hostile forces, natural disasters, or resource shortages. Earth faces these challenges alone and succeeds, President Rodriguez addressed the United Earth Assembly. While the alien meeting continued on Haven Prime, she stood before representatives from every human nation, flanked by General Hayes and Admiral Young, as she explained the situation that was developing across the galaxy. The Federation's panic isn't about our rejection of their offers, President Rodriguez explained. It's about what our independence proves about their system. For 3,000 years, they've convinced species that Federation membership is necessary for survival and advancement. General Hayes stepped forward to present the military analysis. Our success as an independent world demonstrates that their basic assumptions are wrong. Species don't need Federation protection to thrive, and collective development isn't always superior to independent innovation. The revelation was spreading beyond the secret meeting on Haven Prime. Dr. Karen Lewis, Earth's chief strategic analyst, detected similar discussions happening on Federation worlds throughout the galaxy. The alien leadership's attempts to keep humanity's impact secret were failing as more species learned about Earth's successful independence. 3 more worlds have contacted our diplomatic stations, reported Ambassador Martinez from the Lunar Embassy. The Crystalline Confederacy, the Peaceful Alliance, and the nomadic tribes are all requesting private meetings to discuss what they call the human approach to development. Back on Haven Prime, the Federation leadership was reaching desperate conclusions. War Chief Bractol voiced what many were thinking, but none wanted to admit. What if the humans are right? What if Federation membership actually limits species development, rather than enhancing it? The question hung in the chamber like a toxic cloud. For 3 millennia, the Federation had operated on the principle that collective cooperation was superior to individual effort. Humanity's rapid independent advancement challenged this core belief and threatened to unravel their entire civilization. The humans have revealed our greatest weakness, admitted Chancellor Mordun, his ancient voice carrying undertones of defeat. We assumed that our way was the only way. Their rejection proves that alternatives exist, and other species are beginning to explore those alternatives. Admiral, Collins transmitted the final recordings. Back to Earth as the alien meeting dissolved into smaller groups discussing possible responses to the crisis. Some Federation leaders wanted to isolate Earth completely, others suggested studying human methods, and a few even proposed abandoning the Federation system entirely. President Rodriguez concluded her address to the Earth Assembly with the ultimate irony of the situation. By trying to recruit us, the Federation accidentally revealed that they need member species more than member species need them. Our rejection has shown thousands of worlds that independence is possible. Dr. Lewis presented the final analysis to Earth's leadership as reports continued arriving from across the galaxy. 17 Federation worlds have already begun reducing their cooperation with Central Authority. The reptilian hegemony is considering complete withdrawal from the Alliance. The Galactic Council is meeting in emergency session for the 3rd time this month. General Hayes reviewed the military implications of the developing situation. Federation unity is breaking down as more species question whether membership benefits them or limits their potential. Some worlds are asking why they send resources to the central government when they could use those materials for independent development. The transformation was accelerating beyond anyone's expectations. Within 6 months of humanity's final rejection, the Federation faced the first serious challenge to their authority in galactic history. Worlds that had been loyal members for centuries were reconsidering their relationship with the central government. Admiral, Young monitored the communications traffic between Federation worlds and noticed a significant change in tone. They're no longer discussing humanity as a problem to be solved. They're studying us as an example of what might be possible for their own species. President Rodriguez made the final observation that would define Earth's role in galactic history. We didn't set out to destroy the Federation or inspire a revolution. We simply chose independence over security, innovation over stability. Our refusal to join their system has shown the galaxy that their system isn't the only option. The Federation continued to exist, but its absolute authority was broken forever. Hundreds of worlds began pursuing independent development while maintaining loose associations with their neighbors. The rigid hierarchy that had controlled galactic civilization for 3,000 years gave way to a more diverse and dynamic system where species chose their own paths. Humanity continued.